Hey everybody, in this video I'm going to walk through the fight with Volbaino in the First Berserker Khazan, and I'll share the strategy that I use to get through him without too much trouble. So if you are struggling with this fight, hopefully this will help you out with an idea for taking him on. Starting off, I'll go through the build and items and skills that I used, and then we'll get into the actual fight and I'll kind of show that in its entirety, putting it all to use. Alright, so first going through my skills, I used the dual wield weapon type for this. However, I think the main idea of this strategy would probably work for the other weapon types as well with a few tweaks. But starting with swift attack, I'm going to be using whirlwind as my primary offensive skill, with both upgrades under that unlocked as well. There's swiftness to further increase the speed of that whirlwind attack, and then you also have chain to get an additional follow-up attack after you do whirlwind. I then enhance this even further by using the phantom sword dance skill, which is fully upgraded. As you can see from the description, this lasts 40 seconds, and when it's active, it does additional damage while doing that whirlwind attack. Moving down the list, I don't have anything under Potent Blow for this fight, and then under Frenzy, I just have one unlock, which is the Ruthless skill, as there will be a few opportunities to utilize that and put out some nice chunks of damage. Under Penetrate, none of this is really necessary for the strategy I used, it's just kind of where I put some extra points. One for Fleet-Footed to decrease stamina on dodging, one under Deafness, and that's just so I can unlock the upgrade underneath that, which is Lightfoot, and that increases dodge distance slightly. And then finally, Disciplined Action to increase invincibility duration of dodges as well. And then finally, Guard is going to be really important as we're going to be doing a lot of it in this fight. First, Blowback to deal damage when performing Brink Guards, and then more importantly, the upgrade underneath that, which is Blowback Vengeance, which will allow for counter strikes after those Brink Guards, and that's going to be used to quickly go into those whirlwind attacks during the fight. And then finally, I also have Ironclad fully upgraded to reduce stamina on guarding as well. Wrapping things up for my skills under the Common tab, I've got a few extra upgrades and resources for some extra spirit generation so we can do those Phantom Sword Dance and Ruthless abilities. I've got Enduring Spirit for gaining while taking damage, Berserk Spirit for attacking, and then Indomitable Spirit for Brink Guards. Next, here are all of the stats that I had when completing this fight, if you're interested. I'm primarily focused on willpower in terms of my attributes to take advantage of the dual wield weapon scaling, and I also try and stay at least a B on agility. And then finally, this is the gear I used. I've got the Pilgrim's Dual Wield, which also has a set bonus with my ring. And then my armor, I have the full Executioner set. So if you don't have this yet, it can be acquired back in the crevice behind a secret wall on the top floor. I have a video that I'll leave a link in the description if you want to see the specific location for that. And then I also have Keshta the Unyielding as my Phantom ability. So now getting into the fight, first off, probably the most important tip of all of this, if you missed it, is to make sure that you open up the shortcut back to the Central Storehouse Blade Nexus. So as you approach the bridge to the arena on the right side, there's going to be a path with a cart that you can kick. That will then open up access back to that Blade Nexus as a respawn point. Otherwise, if you don't do that, you'd have to go through a whole bunch of the level all over again for every attempt, which would be insanely painful. So once you have that, you can then head into the arena. First though, just kind of a high-level breakdown of this strategy, which essentially all comes down to guarding. More specifically, getting in Brink Guards to activate that Blowback Vengeance skill. That counterattack will then combo into the Whirlwind attack, which we can then enhance further by utilizing the Phantom Sword Dance skill. So that's going to be the primary offense until we can whittle him down to get in a brutal attack, as well as a few opportunities throughout to use the Ruthless skill as well to put out quite a bit of damage too. So right off the bat, I just stand and guard his initial attacks, and here's the first example of me doing that whirlwind combo that I mentioned after I get a Brink Guard. Then I back away to quickly activate that Phantom Sword Dance skill to enhance my damage, and then basically repeat that exact same thing again. After that, need to pay attention to your stamina, so I back away a bit to recoup, but essentially that's kind of the sequence that you'll be repeating a whole bunch to get through this fight. So I've repeated that combo a few times, now with the additional phantom damage added too. And you don't need to worry about getting Brink Guards in every time. As you can see, I'm just regular blocking a lot of his attacks. Really just being patient and waiting until I do get a successful Brink Guard in to activate that combo. The other thing you'll need to watch out for too is his burst attack. So while you're doing this, be prepared to counter that as well. That was enough to break his fortitude, so I hit him with a brutal attack, and then also after that there's a nice little window where he'll be stunned for a little bit where you can immediately follow up for a ruthless attack to do even more damage. At this point he's probably going to go into phase 2 where he climbs to the second level of the arena, and this is going to give you some time to reactivate Phantom Sword Dance if you have the spirit for it, but be prepared for the slam attack that he does, and if you can get a brink guard on that you can then counter with whirlwind again, but from there we'll just continue to look for opportunities to do that same combo for the next part of this fight. The next move you'll see is when he hammers his spike into the ground, which is going to set the floor on fire. But before that, that gives you another opportunity to get in a Ruthless attack as he just kind of stands there for a little bit. After that's done, though, you can see I'm now taking fire damage from the floor. So climb up the ladder to the next level of the arena to avoid any additional hits from that. Eventually, he'll climb up to meet you to continue fighting, and then at some point, he may throw another burst attack at you, so be ready for that. But really, at this point, it's basically just more of the same strategy, so I'll let the rest of the fight play out from here. Alright, so that is the Volbaino boss in the First Berserker Khazan. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully it helped you out. Thanks for watching, and we will catch you in the next one. Bye.
I just wanted to thank you for saving me. I owe you my life.
I'm looking for Pavel, the nobleman.
Do you know where I can find him?